everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today I am going to give you update 22. And it's just kind of a compilation of what all is done and where I'm at right now. So let's get with this one. I've started over here on this side. I'll start by showing you something. Hang on, I got to duck under my foam here. I got kind of an interference problem. My original plan here is the top and the bottom layer, and I was having trouble. I'd glance at this and I would get these two lines over here confused with the other two lines, and I was getting all screwed up with the numbers. Plus some of the numbers here you can't read because they're under other pieces. And then I started realizing also that there's a whole mix of numbers there, and I'm thinking, why the heck is there a mix of numbers there? So anyway, I went inside and I just printed off the lower level. But the numbers still didn't make any sense, and the track looks like it comes in, then it goes out, then it comes back in, and whoops, wait a minute. It's like close and then it's far away, it comes back in, and I thought, why the heck did I do that, you know? And then it comes down here, and then this track overlaps that track. Well, I can't exactly have that. It's it doesn't work. This is going to be 0, and it's 0 until it gets down to about, it's actually right about here is where it turns to into 2. Then you go on down, and it should be 4 by the time it gets here, but it's not 4 until it's over here. So where the upper track, let me see here if we can make sense of this. Hold on. Where the upper track passes over that, right here at this curve, I may just have to cut the bottom of the foam out just a little bit to get that over the top. So I'm not sure. That's not a big deal because that's going to be 2-inch. It's going to be on 2-inch foam, and it's going to be 4 inches high there, 6 inches over here on the other side, which is absolutely no problem. But anyway, you get the idea. But and I didn't change anything on this plan. But when I stuck all these pieces together to make this down here, this is what I wound up. And it's basically the general shape of that on the plan, but not exact. I used just standard pieces instead of all this mix match of pieces. And when I came down here, I extended the length of that just slightly so that these two were right next to each other. This one, of course not lifted up with this, but with a riser, this will be 4 inches right here. This will be 4 inches down, this will be 4 inches up. This one will go on down there, make the loop, come back to the other side of the double track, and come back up and go up to the branch line again. But anyway, I'm having to kind of wing this, and I will explain to you, when I say wing it, how I'm accomplishing that as to where that is located. If you look here on the diagram, I'm not exactly positive, but this is about 6 inches and this is about 4 inches. So that's about 10 inches. So what I did is I measured out 11 inches from the wall there and put it there. Okay? So this edge and that edge down there are both 11 inches from the wall. Then I made the loop the way I had it, well, the way I modified it. It's in the same configuration, just modified. Then, to figure out where I was within the structure that I built here, let me go over to the other side again. I know you're flying around like crazy. Let me duck under again. It's not going to remain like that, by the way. I have to refer back to this. And if you refer back to this, and you look at the lower track, which comes out further than the upper tracks because some of it's going to be exposed, These are 1 foot squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see that that track is right on the 6 foot line. This track right there, that green track's right on the 6 foot line. So I measured 6 feet from here, which is the outside edge of this loop, to the wall over there. And that got me in 2 directions approximately where this goes. Or permanent. It's actually going to be permanently where it goes. And the upper level will just have to work around it if that does not work properly. So you can see that once I got it cut, that I got it in position and I marked it on the boards with the Sharpie. You can also see that I had to wood glue, oops, wait, you can't see because I'm not holding you in the right place. You also can see that I had to add this board on here. It's wood glued and screwed in 2 places. Wood glued and screwed, boy, that's hard to say. Wood glued and screwed in 2 places. Wood glued and screwed in 2 places over there. I had to extend these out just a bit so that they hold this up. This was an approximation. So, and when you see how much interference there is here, you have to stop and think that this, boy, I'm holding you in the wrong place all the time. This right here is even further out than the actual front of this will be. It'll be back about 4 inches from that. So there'll be plenty of walking space in between there. It's just that I don't know what to do with these foam boards right now until I start using them. And which, if I can get this lower level over here done, which doesn't appear like it's going to be too difficult, that won't be too far away. The same thing will apply here. The stringers will go on. Okay, the foam stringers will go on top of all that. Then there'll be a double stringer, another double foam stringer just like over there. And then our top layer will go on there. So I guess you get the idea. I just wanted to keep you up to date on where I'm at, and when I get further down there, which I'm planning on doing this evening, I'm going to take the right hand leg there and go on down and then create a loop that comes back to itself. So let me get busy and we'll do another one when I get that far. Okay, I was asking in the last video, what do you glue this down with? That stuff right there is Quikrete construction adhesive. Everything that Quikrete makes has to be gray because they're a concrete-based company, but it's gray silicone. Anyway, that's what it is, and I've got it on all of the places I need it, and now I'm going to screw this stuff down to the stringers. Okay, so there you are. I just screw down into the foam until it gets into the wood, and I let the screw suck it down to the wood until the construction adhesive dries. I don't remove the screws. A lot of people probably would in case they need to cut through it, but I just leave them there. So anyway, my next chore I think is to cut the piece going on down in the loop. Okay, here is the loop laid out that goes down in the corner. You can see that it's going to have a slight angle to it. I was going to try and show you real quick how I mark the foam. All I do is I just put a finger in here, and of course it doesn't stay equal all the way, and I just run the marker like so, just to get a little bit of edge around the where I'm going to cut it. So the object of this is to cut this one next, lay it over there, and then see what we need for a straight piece along that side over there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how I mark the foam once I lay the track on it and get the foam cut to the way it needs to be. I think that may be a little bit baffling to people, and it's kind of baffling to me, but this is how we do it. Okay. One other thing, I have been asked, how do I cut the foam? I made this blade, And if I can get real close to it, you can see that it started out as a regular saw blade, but I sharpened it on the grinder on both sides. Then I used the edge of the grinder to put the little dimples in there, just like a household carving knife, which is what was suggested to me. That blade that's in there started out as one of those blades. And I just ground it down until I got what I wanted, and I got a dozen of them. I can keep making them, but they don't go dull, and this is how they cut. It's not so bad. You just take it easy and it cuts pretty good. So that's what I'm cutting the foam with. I've had people ask, what are you using for a blade? I'm using the jigsaw on a medium speed. This is a variable speed. I'm using a medium speed and that homemade blade. And by the way, once I get these sections made, the way they lay out on the foam, I just pull them off of there, try and support them the best I can, and if I can get them all off of there in one piece, that's what I do, and I lay them on top of that piece of foam, or I put them on the floor. There is the other section over here in 3 pieces, and I will put it back on there after I get the risers put on. But anyway, I try and leave them as intact as I can, then I can put them back in place the way I actually had designed it. Okay, gang, it's all just sitting there. I've got to join the pieces of foam. I've got a little bit of leveling to do right there. Join the 2 pieces down here. Put a stringer in over there to hold up that end, that little loop right there. That one's sitting on one, that one's sitting on one, and these are sitting on them. So that's going to be good for the lower level loop that comes back. And once I get that done, I can start putting the risers on these pieces. Well, actually just this piece. Riser from there around down to there somewhere. Anyways, we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I'll have plenty of time tomorrow. It's almost 8:30 at night here, and I'm fixing to go in and take a shower. So, and this is Wednesday. Okay, everybody, it's Thursday, and you can see that I have the pieces of track put back out on my pattern, and I just put them back out there to be sure that they fit. And of course, like I say, that loop will be the lower level, and it will attach there, and then it will start to go uphill. So we're going to work on the uphill. Over here, I had to put in a little stringer here, another little stringer here, which wound up being crooked because of all the crooked boards, this is the one that was crooked. So I had to put a little piece of Kato track under there as a spacer and screw down through that. But it's all solid now. And there's where we are. Oh, I had to put a little spacer here as well. And I obviously didn't put a screw down in there. So I'll put a screw down in there. Or maybe not. No, it's got silicone under there. We'll just let the silicone get hard and support it. Okay, we've got our risers on. Our decline goes around and goes down. And then it will go on to the flat portion and all the way around the loop, come back around here, all the way up to the top, and back to the branch line, which that will simulate going to the outside world somewhere. Okay, it's nice and cool outside today, so you can see that I have the door open, and I have painted, taped and painted the top of the foam. And I have the track pretty much in place. I substituted out double track over there, piece of double track, which was only in there to keep the track rigid while I was moving it around. Goes around that curve, and then I took a piece of double track right out of there, and right out of there. And the reason for that is that when I get the scenery on top of this, it's highly likely that those might come out of tunnel portals and go through a little canyon over there. At least that's, when I look at the plan, that's kind of what I see in my head. But it comes around here and it goes to the double track. The double track comes out behind, goes around here and makes a loop and comes back and goes back up the grade to this point. And on the upper level, this will have a number 6 switch on it here somewhere that goes into the, or that comes off of the end of the branch line. So that's what that is doing. And I think I might test that track, but I think right now, in fact I need to put joiners in it. But I think right now I'm going to start putting the stringers on for the upper level. So I'm going to do the double stringers like I did over there, over here, which means I might have to break out the table saw and do some more messy cutting. I do have an idea on how to keep the dust down though. But right now I think I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of feeders in this and we'll go from there. Okay, I fixed my little screw up there. Let's see what we got now. And there you have it, down and up. And all that is to create a loop back and more running space for the end of the branch line. So there you go. Okay, you can see what we've got here. I've got ground zero. I don't need to do anything to the middle here because it's going to be a mountain and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to construct it, and I'm not exactly sure how these outside edges are going to be, so they're just free hanging out there. But I have all the risers in to put all the flat stuff around to that point right there. Tomorrow though, we're going to put some strips this way. I'm going to get all these tools off here and cut these pieces right here up into strips. And we're going to put them lengthwise along there to hold the flat pieces here. And then we're going to get to work on the flat board, I believe. I have all of that track down there tacked down around with hot glue. I think you can see it in some spots. And I did leave this curve right here loose so that I can move it around when it gets up here and attaches to number 6 switch. And there'll be some more boards around here, and these boards oops, wait a minute, let me get where I can see. These boards right here will have to be extended out, that one, and probably one in the corner right there, because if I get here, ouch, you can see that my mark on the floor is way out here, and I want to have that space to be able to do the town in. So more than likely these will extend out about another foot or so, and I'm not sure about this one. This one here I'm thinking about bringing out a little bit too. These I may not need to bring out. I'm not exactly sure. We'll see once we get the top on, because on these I can always slide another one of these in there and then screw it in, you know, from the side. No problem. Glue it, screw it, and glue it. We went through that yesterday. And that's why these are kind of sticking out there oddball right now also, because I'm thinking about rounding this corner a little bit right here, and not sure how I'm going to support that. But we can get there. We can put the supports under. In fact, that one square block under there, I glued both sides of it with the foam tack and then slid it in there. And by tomorrow, you won't be able to pull those two pieces of foam apart. So, and these were all of these up here were just foam tacked. And you can see they're not completely dry yet, but they're sturdy. I went and got some more 2.5 inch screws so that I could screw down into these and get them to hold, you know, relatively permanently. But you can see that I'll have space under there to get in and retrieve a train if it falls off the track. The same thing underneath here. There's going to be, obviously, there's space in there that I'll be able to reach up in and grab something. These are a little bit floppy right now, just because. Until I figure out what I'm doing on the outside edge here, and then at that point I'll put a strip along here, glued, and then I will glue another strip to the top of it, or the top piece to it. There's always ways to attach this foam together. That's kind of the neat thing about it. And that foam tack glue, once it's dried for about a day, it's done. By the way, I just picked up this knife here at Lowe's when I went over to get the screws. And if I stick it out about that far, I can just cut these strips like nobody's business, and I don't need to hook up the table saw. In fact, this is the cut it makes right here. So I don't need to go through a whole lot of more stuff to get that done. But I'm hoping to get the rest of the risers over here tomorrow. Then I can start working on the flatboard. I could take some of this flatboard outside, and I'll probably wind up taking at least 2 sheets of it back. So that's $130 I can get back. I don't think I'm going to need it anyway. So that being said, here we are. This is the end of Thursday. Okay, I think I told you guys that I was going to get the sheets of foam out of here for today, which I did. I took them outside, laid them against the shed. Moved all my tools over here. We're going to swing down here. I got all these pieces across here, and I measured it out, and I had a 7'4" piece that I needed here. I'm leaving it 4 foot wide until I decide how far to cut it back, until I get ready to put track and so forth. But you can see that it fits like a champ on the risers that I mounted in there. Here's a look of underneath. That's what I wind up with. You can see, like right in here, I'm probably going to have to put a little bit of glue on it, maybe put a piece underneath there to seam it because it's sagging. Then I'll figure out how to cut that curve. Probably going to cut it in about 1.5 feet and kind of round it up with the floor down there. I know it's too hard to get both of them in, but anyway, I know what I'm doing. Then I have a piece to put in over here, and I'm not exactly sure. This piece is not going to be so wide. It's only going to be slightly wider than, well, it's probably only going to be this wide because these overhang the pieces of wood down here. And I'm not exactly sure what that depth is. Hold on one second. Okay, on the plan here, if you take about 2 inches on that square and about 3 inches on that square, it's about 2.5 feet or so out to the edge here. So this will have to be about 2.5 feet. Let me see what it is right now. Well, that's ironic because right now, and this was strictly by accident, it's 2'6". I love it when a plan comes together. So I'll probably make this piece that fits there about 2'7", just so it overhangs by about 1 inch, so I can trim it, cut it, and whatever. I may even make it wider than that. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to make the piece that comes down here. So comes down here. Once I figure that out, I'll figure out what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I just measured this piece, and this piece is just a slight bit over 32 inches. And if I take that down into here, it comes to about here on this board, but it just misses this one here. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and put this one here where it is, leave it right where it is because it's butted up against the other piece down there. And it fits there perfectly. I've got to do some cutting out, strategic cutting out of the back, because it only needs to be cut for the one track right here, and only when it gets down there a ways does it need to be cut for 2 tracks where the other track comes up. So I'll strategically look at that and cut it at that particular location. I'll do that from underneath, but I'm going to cut a piece about 35 wide here. In fact, I may even leave it, you know what, I might even leave it 4 feet. Because if I leave it 4 feet, I can cut a piece off of that there, because I'm pretty sure that's long enough to get to the wall. And then all I'll need is a small piece to go in here. Say about a 3 foot wide or 3 foot long piece, whichever way you look at it. And I think that'll work out well, and I might be able to get it all out of that one piece right there. And like I say, I will lay it on top here, more or less, and I will go underneath and mark where the pieces need to be cut. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a piece from here to the wall, 4 feet wide, cut it as needed, and then put a small piece from about there to there, over here on this side. We're going to see how that works out. But you can see that this piece here just fit like a champ. I just love the way this piece here fit. It just fit perfectly. It's up against the wall and it's up against the foam here. It's just perfect. Okay, I'm going to try and achieve that perfection on the next piece. Okay, gang. I have all of this cut to the back edge the way it belongs. You can see that I have a little mismatch in height over here. I got to take the saw and do a little 1/4 inch deep cut probably over there into the foam a little bit. Just take a little bit out. But it slid right in there. I also got to make a corner piece over there for that corner, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to pull that off. We shall see. But nevertheless, that'll be a no-brainer. I'll figure out how to fill that in. But it's becoming obvious to me that I'm going to have to cut radiuses in this and figure out approximately where I want it, because I can't get, back there to do nothing. I know that corner over there has got to be cut back kind of severely, because the track that you see coming uphill over there is as far out as the layout actually should go. so I can cut that out pretty decently. I'm going to cut a radius into here. I think I've already mentioned that. Radius in here. I've only got to figure out where I'm going to get pieces to fill in here. I think I might have to cut another sheet. Not real positive yet, but I'm trying to make it out of these sheets. I've got a few pieces. I could piece it together and then masking tape it on the top, but I sure hate to do that, but I could do that. I don't know, maybe I just need to not be so cheap and just cut another piece, a little tiny piece off of one of those $65 boards. But I will figure it out and I will get back to you. Oh, let me show you one other thing here. Obviously this piece here, I had to go underneath and cut it so that the double tracks fit behind there, and like I say, I'll scenic over that in some fashion. As it comes up over there, it won't be so drastic. But you know, anything, once I get to the, you know, above 2 inches here, I can put just about anything here. But anyway, all that's cut all the way down there around that corner. And I did cut a bevel on the edge of this, just for the heck of it. In fact, I cut a bevel on the whole bottom side of this here so I can reach up through. And you can see that I can get my hand down through there. It's not a big deal, so I'll be able to reach anything that's under there. This is pretty much what we got so far. I'm teetering on this stool, hold on. Come across there, come over to here. This piece is all done. That's going to be a mountain in the middle. We're good to go here. Okay, I don't know where the last video left off, but here we go. We got all this in. I think I showed that being cut. I've got a bunch of stuff up here on top of the board, and I've got some stuff organized here on the floor. And the leftover wood and foam is laying here. And I have some stuff that I prematurely brought here from the storage unit and the vacuum. And I have all of the floor cleaned up, vacuumed up. And I do believe that I'm starting, or ready to get started, laying the yard out. But I think I'm going to end this video here, and the next video will include that stuff. I don't know what happened to my space here, but somehow this wound up being out further than it was supposed to be. And I'm going to wind up having to cut this back a little. The actual measurement of the yard is only 18 inches. And this is 24 inches at least out to here. So I'll be able to cut a little bit, figure out where to put the station, you know, I'll figure it out. I think I said it in one of the videos, but I think this edge right here has to come out because my floor mark is way out here. But that remains to be seen. But anyway, I've got some stuff laying up on the board, but it's things that I think I may be able to use. All the track that was purchased for the top of the table. We'll see what I have. I've stole some stuff out of there. But anyway, I think that's it for video 22. Okay, I'm down here at the other end because I'm letting the air conditioner blow on me because I've been working in here obviously and sweating like crazy today. Humidity here is about 50%, which is really weird for us. But anyway, it is what it is. And I have got everything organized, as you see, to get moving on the, getting the track laid out on here and see how it's going to work. And as usual, thanks for watching.